Hello and welcome to the My Amazon Guy Friday live Q&A podcast. My name is Noah Wickham. I am sales director here at My Amazon Guy, and I am here every single Friday to answer any and all questions you guys have, which at the moment we don't have any. So with that being said, I'm going to go into some different news, some different topics. A lot of people are likely going to be trickling in from the previous podcast I was literally just on a few minutes ago. So as you are, throw your comments in and I will answer them as they come through. But for right now, as you can see, I am in full Halloween spirit. behind me here, and figure I would just go into some different news, talk about some different things, and hopefully anybody who's there can enjoy it. So first and foremost, let's chat a little bit. Here we go. Chat a little bit about this that just came out within the last hour. Amazon just released the ability to search business reports by ASIN and analyze all the metrics. So one of the cool things that we have never had is essentially being able to actually do an ASIN search in your sales dashboard. So what this means is if we come on over here to our sales dashboard, and I will zoom out here a little bit so you can actually see some things. Let's see where we have to actually go for this. So we go by ASIN. I think right here is what they're asking. So ASIN search doesn't look like we have that. Oh, here we go. ASIN search. Yeah, so you can actually go through and look from an ASIN level now. So if we just take this and do ASIN search, or you have a specific one, cool. So new info. Amazon's coming out with new stuff all the time, it appears. But I think this is a pretty cool change overall, being able to actually do an ASIN search within your ASIN reports. Each one of these, I was thinking it was going to be a little bit more along the lines of seeing the ASIN search for everything. Let's see, can we do it on this one? Doesn't look like we can actually do it from a sales perspective, but still really, really cool to be able to see this in general. We do have one question in the chat here. Let's get to it. Nab, hi Noah. How do I get a brand store link to say my brand name instead of all of the numbers and letters? So are you talking specifically, Nab? I'll just pull this up real quick. So when you're on your brand store, there's a couple things you need to kind of understand. So if we go to share this tab for you, if we go here and we just choose this product, are you wanting it to essentially, when someone comes here, to show your brand name and not all of the kind of text? You can't see it up in my URL. So when you're doing this, you can do two things here. Number one, you can submit a case to seller support to change the URL for your brand store specifically. And usually you can get it changed to a couple of keywords. But unfortunately, there isn't a specific you can do this. What you can do, however, slightly different here, is when people click on, let's say, a seller, so sold by here. So this sold by, and then visit their storefront, you can actually change when somebody views your storefront, which is essentially all your products here. You can change this. So this one you can change and go to, whatever the name is. So you can just submit a case for that. You can also go under, I believe, if we come up here again, I believe if we go over to, I think it's info and policies. I can't get in here, unfortunately, on this account, but it's under your profile here. If you change the name of your store here, that will also give that ability to change that URL. You're still likely going to have to submit a support case for it, but you can do it for your storefront. I'm not positive you can do it for your brand store. Unfortunately, you can submit to have the keywords in your brand store changed, but you still are going to have, some version of letters. Well, just get a URL forwarder. So essentially just have a URL that you want that you can send out, and it auto forwards to whatever your Amazon store is. Let's see. We got Journeyman. Have you had much success with Levanta? How do you maximize success? I love Levanta. Levanta are some very, very good colleagues of mine. We are currently partnered with Levanta. They have a great, great service that they offer. For those that don't know what Levanta is, I guess I don't want to turn this into a Levanta ad, even though I'm sure that they would probably love that. But Levanta is essentially a affiliate marketing. So if I pull this up, so Levanta, they do affiliate marketing for Amazon products specifically. If you've ever used Creator Connections, Levanta is essentially like Creator Connections outside of Amazon's platform. So I really like what they have going on there. I think everything looks really cool. Again, we have some partnership that we do over there with them. and whatnot. And so Levant guys are super cool. And I'm sure that Trey and Greg and everyone over there would love that I'm saying that. So check them out. Viper. What are good profit margins? ACOS tacos to be profitable for Q4. All right. So that is entirely product specific, category specific, and really comes down to essentially what are you selling and how are you trying to sell it and what makes sense for your business. So I'm always going to say from ACOS tacos, 30% ACOS, 15% tacos if you're trying to grow. If you're trying to be aggressive and grow, 15% tacos, 30% ACOS. ACOS at 30% is kind of a good margin to be spending. About 30% of your sales coming from advertising, so on and so forth, or spent on advertising. Past that as well for profit margin, again, that's really just category product dependent. You could be selling a product for $20, right, that you manufacture for 2 cents a unit, and your profit margin is insane compared to someone who sells it for $20 and manufactures for $5 a unit, right? So very, very unique case, case by case situation. Nab, yes, and my follow button doesn't show either. So if your follow button doesn't show, that sounds more like it's a problem on the actual Amazon side. I would straight up just ask seller support on that. Viper again. Is there an updated launch strategy other than reducing price and optimize listing? Yeah, I mean, so that's a primary. I put out a video, I think it was last week, maybe the week beforehand, going over advertising pricing at launch. I would very heavily recommend that you give that a watch. I'll also be pushing out a video next week going over this exact type of thing again. But realistically speaking, your biggest things when you are launching are going to be your price and where your product is showing up. So that's essentially price for conversion, your main image for your click-through rate, and then how are you advertising well on it. If you can get the clicks, and you can get your product to show up at top of search with advertising, and you are a competitive price, you will get sales. That is just, as dumbed down basic logic as possible with it. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of how you go about it. It's not some secret formula of you got to do this, this, and this. It's really that simple at times. And it just comes down to making sure you have all of those things all at launch and making sure you're doing them all at the same time. Journeyman, do you have any experience with PixelMe from Carbon 6 to drive traffic from Google to Amazon listings? Yeah, absolutely. So we've used that on a couple of accounts. We're obviously also partnered with Carbon 6 as well, and we've had them do that for some of our clients. I'm not the biggest fan of PixelMe, and that mostly just comes from how I like to typically manage and do things from an Amazon perspective. So PixelMe is one of those types of services that I think if you are full focus on Amazon alone, it can be good, but realistically speaking, you're going to be better off driving Google traffic either to your own site or just doing Google advertising in general. So I would look for someone to do Google and Meta advertising. We do it, for plenty of our clients and everything. But I mean, PixelMe is a decent service for what they offer. I just think that there's better ways to go about doing or getting the same end result that you're going for by looking at something like PixelMe. Viper, hey Noah, long time no talk. What are some tips for Q4? Always happy to see you, Viper. So tips for Q4. Amazon has recently been a real pain in the butt, as a lot of people have seen. So if we actually pull up here some news, some tips for Q4 come down to inventory. So if I go to, there we go. Amazon recently put out this news article, which I'll zoom in again so you guys can actually read it. But they're updating their peak inventory shipments and essentially extended automatic closure window to 90 days for shipments between August 7th and October 31st. So their cutoff window for BFCM is October 19th, but they're also extending the automatic closure window to 90 days for anything in that period. So be expecting that if your inventory is not already received, even if you shipped in before October 19th, you might be waiting a little while. It's unfortunate, but it happens. Same thing, extended abandoned shipment window from 30 to 45 days. Both of those things are, I guess the best way to put it is not great for the average seller, right? Especially during Q4, which is supposed to be a huge, huge time of the year. So if you are right now running into inventory issues, just plan and forecast for that. Even if you are getting close to running out of stock, cool, raise your price. Past that, the big thing is for like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, be expecting to just up your budget overall. So from, I would say, about the second week of November all the way to the second week of December, make sure you have a higher budget than you normally would. This is peak time for people buying, especially that Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Amazon might do their 11 days of deals again, so be prepared for that. If you are running any current deals or any pricing discounts right now, I would take those away so that you don't affect your reference price whatsoever come Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and you can put that back up. So those are some of the basic things I would say for kind of Q4 advice. But realistically speaking, Q4 is just the same as any other time of year. It's just there's more sales. You're going to spend more on advertising. You're going to get more sales. You're going to have to be a little bit more aggressive with your pricing. So those are big things. Some cool things to do as well if you want to. Update things like your brand store and your brand story to have, a little Christmas banner on them. It's small, but it helps conversion. And you can update your main image to do things like have a little bow in the side corner, which normally would be against Amazon policy, but they let it happen for Q4. So those are some of the, more niche ideas, but still ones nonetheless. Hasnain, how to know IP issues if a product have IP? Any tool which is free? Not positive what you're asking. I'm going to assume you mean how to know if you have any IP infringement issues, which Amazon will tell you that. But also, secondly, Helium has a tracker for products if they go down or if they have anything like that. So maybe use Helium's. But realistically, if you're selling products that have IP infringement of any kind, unless you're asking, for other people's IP infringement. So if other people are infringing upon your IP, the only way to find that really is to search for it. It's one of those things where there are entire companies that is their entire job. They are law firms where they will just search all day long for different products. They usually use software of some kind that have the IP of their clients, and then they send out cease and desist and IP infringement claims. So there is software. I'm not super familiar with all of it, but realistically, if you're having issues with IP, I would just look out for one of those guys. Let's see here. Journeyman, I signed up for Levant and reached out to over 100 creators, but have not had much response. Do you have any tips to get creators to promote your product? Yeah, so Journeyman, couple of things. So from what I kind of know with Levant and what I have seen with their service, 100 creators isn't much. So in the grand scheme of things, reaching out to 100 different creators isn't much. From what I know, to get like really good results, usually you need to reach out to around like 250 to 300. Secondarily to that, how much time in between reaching out to them and actually having things done, and how much follow-up did you do? Because from what I know, one of the bigger things with, and this is especially true even for like creator connections, that I've also experienced in the past, but also Levanta and any affiliate marketing, is that influencers do not care about your time. They only care about theirs. So if you are trying to get them to make content or anything like that, they have content calendars. They have sponsorships. They are doing other products. It can take months before someone who says, yes, I will do this for you, actually puts out the content, unless you directly like set up a schedule with them. So my biggest advice is continue reaching out to people. Make sure you're following up with them. And if you are trying to do this like tomorrow, know that's not going to happen. And that the only way that's going to happen is if you somehow shoot someone a DM and say, I'll pay you $10,000 to promote this product tomorrow. And maybe you'll get a response then. Let's see. Nab. Can we run sponsored product ads to certain demographics now? I saw someone talking about it on LinkedIn. So it's not sponsored product, I believe. Let me pull this up. I believe it's sponsored display has that. Let's see here. To answer your question, yes, you can. But I think it's sponsored display, and sponsored brand has that. Let's see where it is. Yeah. So you can do it for sponsored display. You can do it for sponsored brand. You can't do it for sponsored product yet on every account. They are testing a beta, from what I know, for the sponsored product. But the issue I think that they're going to run into very quickly is that sponsored products don't really work like that. I mean, they do, but it's just not going to be what people want it to be, which is Facebook marketing, right? People would love it if sponsored products turned into, actually, I think personally, I'd hate it if we turned sponsored products into Facebook marketing. It would ruin the entirety of it. But yeah, from demographic stuff, yeah, they're starting to release that. I mean, just so everyone kind of understands, demographics, based advertising on Amazon isn't new. I mean, that's entirely what Amazon DSP has been. The difference is that they're allowing you to kind of do it through sponsored display, sponsored brand now, rather than just DSP. So sponsored product, I would imagine they'll bring it out sometime soon. It would not surprise me. I don't have it on this account. I'm sure there's probably an account that already has it. But realistically, I mean, if it is happening, it's not probably going to be based off of actual demographic data. And I would imagine they're going to do it very similar to brand tailored promotions, where essentially they have the data for like each one of the different brand types. So you can have like your at-risk people and target them specifically, and so on and so forth. Let's see. For all of my FBM items, purchased orders deliver by date shows 2 to 7 days earlier than it is on the Amazon.com detail page. Why? That sounds like you have a specific shipping template issue. I would just go up to the cog in the right-hand corner, and then I would just go to your shipping settings and check that out. A lot of times people don't realize that Amazon updated the general settings for like automated handling time. And so your automated handling time is different, and same with your shipping time. So I would just check your shipping settings. Again, it can just go into the right-hand corner, a little gear icon, click shipping settings, and get there. Shoaib, great. Section 3. Crappiest section of Amazon's terms of service. What are you asking? I don't know what you want from me there. Section 3. Yeah, it's a thing. Jay, lately I can't get the list price. Do you have a tip for this? Yeah. A lot of times when people can't get the list price, Jay, that usually comes down to they had a discount on the product for too long. And what ended up happening is that your reference or average selling price over a period of time is too low. So when you go ahead and essentially try and up it more than, and Amazon will not let you do this if you end up upping your price more than 10-15%. They consider this like high pricing competitor or competitive pricing and everything. So yeah, if you're getting an issue trying to get to your list price, you just have to slowly inch your way up. There was a brand that I worked on a couple of months back, been like almost half a year. They had an issue where they, for a very long time, constantly had 50% price discount, and then they wanted to go back. And it turned out that it took us, I think, like 5 months to get them back to their list price, because it got to the point where their average selling price, we were only able to bump up their price. I don't know. It was like by 25 cents a day or a week. It was pretty ridiculous, because, your average selling price is based off of how many sales you're getting. So if you're not getting as many sales because you're starting to raise your price up, it makes it even harder to get back to that list price. So I'd say it's just incremental growth there, slow but sure. Let's see here. Daniel Alam. Hi there. How to utilize placements? How to balance ACOS across placements if ACOS is high at any 1 to 2 placements. Okay. So how do you utilize them? So let's do this. Let's open up our campaign manager again, and I will share my screen. So placements. Let's just choose this one. I have no idea what this campaign is. I won't do much to it, but this is placements. It's at campaign level. So you have top of search, you have rest of search. And again, you guys can't probably see. So let me zoom in here. You have rest of search, and then you have your product pages. Now, the big thing to note is that this is literally what it means. It means you will be at the top of search, the first page on Amazon. Rest of search is anything past that first page. And then product pages is as it sounds when someone clicks onto a product. Now, the bid adjustment means that this will increase your bid by a percentage, right? So between the 0 and whatever percent that you have. So if you have a bid, and it makes it very clear here, you have a bid of $1, we are at 10%, it will be $1.10 for this placement. So you will be bidding, and this is essentially the use case for it, Daniel, where you will go in to your actual ad group here and you're targeting. So I have this target, which is just Sage, right? So we have Sage, which I am bidding 79 cents for. So the idea here is that, let's say I find out my conversion rate on top of search placement is much higher than it is on product pages. In that case, what I could do, if I'm finding I'm not getting, and I think that's actually the case here, it is. So top of search, we get a lot more orders than we do product pages, even though product pages, we get way more impressions. So instead of increasing my bid for that keyword, since I know top of search is going to be better, I'm going to increase the percentage for this. It allows me to essentially adjust the bid on specific keywords and where it's going to be placed without necessarily, having that bid go into product pages, right? So if I want to spend 30 cents on product pages, I could decrease my bid overall to 30 cents and then increase my top of search to, 50%, which would get me up to that 80-cent mark. Let's see. Blizzard. Does the more sponsored ad sales, the more organic sales over time? Does this snowball effect continue? And can you get organic sales from previous organic sales? This is good for profitability. Yeah. So sponsored ad sales. So if you have, let's say, a keyword on a product, I don't know, you have the keyword balloons on the product, and you are also advertising for that keyword. If you get a sale from advertising, that is going to help you rank. That is going to show, oh, you are now having a sponsored rank of it still is going to index for that keyword. And once you start essentially indexing and ranking more with, yes, more sales, eventually you'll show up for organic ranking for that keyword. And once you show up for organic ranking, you can now say, oh, I can get sales organically without having to advertise as much against it. Now, this is a very, very dumbed down way of looking at it, but that is the essential point of, yes, advertising is to eventually have your product start ranking, eventually have your product be higher in overall ranking for category, but then also for keywords to then have more organic traffic. So yeah, profitability, that's essentially what managing tacos is all about. Viper. It's been over 4 months and still no creator connections. I've sent emails and Mag is sent to. What do I need to do to get in? Viper, I don't know. I'm sorry. I know I have guided you in every way I can multiple times over the last couple of months on this exact problem. Every single time I have had to get into creator connections, I have given you the exact advice and used the exact advice that I have also been giving. The biggest thing I can tell you is that at the end of the day, it's a waiting game. Earlier Journeyman was talking about Levanta. That's a potential solution for you if you want to look at it. It's a little bit pricier, obviously, than Creator Connections, but if you're really dead set on affiliate marketing, that's the way. What it would kind of allude to here for me is that if you still don't have access, I would wonder what your sales volumes at Viper. A lot of times if somebody has lower sales volume, it's possible they're not going to let them in. Not positive that's actual criteria because they haven't released what the Creator Connections criteria is. But my guess is there are a lot of people who are trying to get into it, and there aren't as many creators as they would kind of hope for how many sellers there are. So my best advice, keep at it. But it's unfortunate because if you've taken all of the exact advice that I've given, there's not much else you can really do, unfortunately. Blizzard. Does Amazon reward sellers if they keep a high account health number? And do they offer better fees long term and service reward or no? No. Amazon will punish you at any chance they get if your account health is not in tip top shape. But they do not give you any form of anything if you are following the rules. So it's very much a follow the rules because they are the rules. And if you break the rules, we will punish you to the nth degree. They don't really care if you follow the rules, if you are in line with the account health. That's essentially, in their eyes, what you're supposed to do, not something that you get rewarded for doing. So, fortunately, no. I think you can pay Amazon influencers on Fiverr to make vids. Oh yeah, for Viper. Yeah, I mean you could do that. Like I said, you can do that. You can do Levanta. Again, like I said, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Mr. Ad, my prep center mislabeled my product with another product we sell on Amazon. Now Amazon is putting the inventory into another product's inventory, and customers are complaining they received the wrong product. I tried to open a case with Amazon to bin check or relabeling with the right product, but they say I have to create a remove order. How can I fix this without creating a remove order? You can't, unfortunately. So it's going to be really, really, really rare if you can, because it would depend entirely, in my opinion, on how many units you have. But realistically speaking, you can. I have ran into this problem with sellers more times than I can count. And it's unfortunate because it's very difficult, one, to get Amazon to do anything in the warehouse. Even, I mean, asking for a bin check and like a Cubiscan takes like a week, right? So asking for relabeling, Amazon doesn't have a great system for things like, one-off tasks, like trying to differentiate one product from another. I mean, if your own warehouse mislabeled, I mean, what's the chances Amazon does too, right? So, unfortunately, it really sucks, but your best chance here is going to be to probably do a remove order and just relabel everything yourself, and then send it back in. I wish I had a better answer, but like I said, this is one of the sucky things. Like I said, you can ask seller support if you can pay them for special project hours. But I would guess that, the costs there, you will very quickly find out that special project hours, which, by the way, are extremely hard to get for warehousing. It's almost denied 99% of the time. But if you do get it, it's going to be probably about as much as it would be just to do a remove order and send it back in. Hamza, what should we do when brands say that we do not allow to sell? They do not allow us to sell our products to be sold on third-party platforms like Amazon, Walmart, or TikTok. What should we do when I promise I'm not dyslexic, guys. What should we do when brands say that we cannot allow to sell? I ask them if you can anyways, pretty please. There's not really an answer there, right? Like if a brand doesn't want you to sell their product on a third-party website, that's end of story. You can ask them to change their policy. Ask them, hey, can we have special privilege? Can we do X? Can we do Y? Can we do Z? But realistically speaking, that's just what the brand wants to do. There's not really a direct, yeah, you should do this here, because the brand doesn't want to sell on third-party websites. They don't have to sell on third-party websites. That's their prerogative, From a sales perspective, if you're trying to say like you're trying to sell to a brand that's currently selling Shopify and they don't want to sell on Amazon, I would just talk to them about a lot of the new seller incentive stuff, a lot of the Amazon is 37% of all e-commerce sales. It's being left on the table, so on and so forth. Who we have? Journeyman. Do you know where to buy backlinks? Stephen Pope mentioned it in a video yesterday and would like to know the website you use. Backlinks. Let me look here. Let me look what you're talking about. And maybe one of our social team has the actual link for this. If you guys do, you could post it for me. That would be great. We got people on the back end who help me out here, guys. Backlinks. I do not know, Journeyman, what you're referring to. If I can find it, then I will let you know. Let's see. We got a little message here. Let's look at this video. Platinum success rang. Oh, you're talking about from an agency perspective. Okay, so I don't have the direct link for where we get ours, Juryman, but do me a favor, shoot me an email, podcast@myamazonguy.com, and I can get you a link to that probably here pretty soon. That shouldn't be an issue whatsoever. I thought you were talking about something on Amazon, not actually not our agency stuff. That was that was a moment. But yeah, if you shoot me a quick email over there, Jerryman, I could probably get you something for end of day today. Let's see. Can you still be profitable and make decent sales in the quieter Q1 and Q2? Also, is top in category or BSR rank more important or both? Thanks, man. Much appreciated for the answers. Good day to you. Thank you. So can you still be profitable and make decent sales Q1, Q2? Yeah. I mean, there are some brands that and categories that are actually larger in Q1 and Q2 than they are in Q4. Specifically, things like supplements, workout equipment, gym apparel, etc. That kind of stuff pops off in Q1, insanely so. So you can absolutely, it depends on category, be more profitable. I mean, if you're selling a super seasonal Christmas item or something, probably not. But if you're selling something that can be, related to Q1, Q2, you can still make decent sales. It really depends. If you're super giftable item, likely not. You're not going to make a ton of money Q1, Q2, but you can make some. What I always try and suggest to people, especially if they have a brand or a product that is so Q4 dependent and heavy, just differentiate. Find some other things. I mean, like, look, if you sell if you sell soap, right? Scented soap, and you are, needing to, you sell it and it's all Christmas scents, right? Pine trees and all that jazz. Dude, get a soap and just make a soap for Valentine's, then make a soap for Easter, then make a soap for Memorial Day, so on and so forth. Like, have the designs be for those holidays, so you get consistent sales year round. That's the real way to stay, good on Amazon, is just have something that can sell year round, but has like Q4 seasonality, because everything has Q4 season. Well, not everything, but a lot of things do. Let's see. Salma Rita. Okay. Could you share tips for how to increase the account health? Yeah. Follow the exact account health rules. It's pretty simple. How do you increase your account health? Let's go over to account health. I am zoomed in way too much. Here we go. So we have customer service performance, policy compliance, and shipping performance. These three things are what encompass account health. So for order defect rate, your target is under 1%. What is considered order defect rate? Negative feedback, AZ guarantee claims, chargeback claims. If you are an FBM seller, all of this matters. Realistically speaking, there's not like a secret trick or hack to increase your account health. It's get more sales, because obviously all of the account health stuff are a percentage, right? So under 2.5%, under 4%, over 95%, over 90%. So they're all percentages. So the more sales that you get that are within these time frames, so 30 days, 7 days, 30 days, 14, so on and so forth, the more that you get there, And with the less, things here, the lower your percentage will be overall. So you can see here with order defect under 1%, we have 1 of 564 orders over 6 days. If we had, let's say, I don't know, what would that be? 40 orders or so out of 564, and we were over 1%. I mean, the biggest way to go about that, right, would just be to essentially be like, hey, let's get more orders in. Some will drop off over the course of that 60 days and then go from there. Anything policy compliance wise, a lot of these don't actually affect your account health rating. But a lot of this is just, if you have something here, just solve it. If you get frequent stuff here, that's a problem. And usually it shows Amazon that you're, like a reseller or someone who doesn't care about their policies, the platform, or other sellers. And so it's a bad look. But yeah, that's kind of simple. All in. Hey, okay. Amazon reimbursement. Don't have anything there. We have my refund guy. Let's see here. There we go. Daniel. My bid is higher than my cost per click, but I lower the bid and bring it close to my cost per click, and I lose impression. I lose impression in sales, but a cost is very high on high bid. Any solution? It's higher than cost per click, but I lower the bid and bring it close to my cost per click, and I lose impression in sales. Yeah, I mean, that sounds essentially like you're in a bidding war with another brand right now. So when you lose impressions, when you lower your bid and you bring it, even if your cost per click is like, I don't know, let's say your cost per click's 75 cents, you're at $1 right now, and you lower it to 80 cents and you lose a bunch of impressions, that means you are competing with other sellers on that keyword. A lot of people don't realize that, like, that's what the actual bidding is. You are bidding against other people, right? For that spot, for that placement. A big thing that might actually help you here, Daniel, is lowering your bid and focusing on placement only. That's a big thing you can do for this, because you can essentially see where are you actually getting your orders from. You're not going to be wasting money on, let's say, product pages if you're not getting any orders from that. You're not going to be wasting money on, rest of search if you have to be top of search, so on and so forth. So I would focus very heavily on placements if you're having an issue actually keeping your ACoS down, and just focus on where orders are actually coming from and being generated from. You're likely still going to be above your cost per click. But again, that cost per click is a mix of all of those placements. So that's why you get that cost per click. Even when you decrease your bid, it means, and you're losing impressions, it means that you're also decreasing the bid for the area that you usually are getting impressions and clicks from. So hopefully that helps you. Pro Hall, there is another seller. Oh no. Anything seller, our products under their brand registry. What can be done? Oh, here we go. They got a better word one. There is a hijacker that is selling our products under their brand registry. We have to provide an invoice for our own brand in order to list our product. What can be done? Hope you had a good week. I have had a good week, Pro Hall. I appreciate that. All right. You got Hijacker on your listing. They have taken over your listing, your ASIN, and your brand under their brand registry. You need to contact brand registry, and you need to contact seller support. You then need to show them the ASIN. You need to show, or the product. You need to show the UPC alongside that, and show them that they have stolen and hijacked the product, because that's essentially the way that they got to steal the product in the first place. So it's really unfortunate. You're in for a long haul battle here. It sounds like, I mean, if you don't have a brand yourself, but it sounds like you do have a brand. And from what I know, Pro Hall, you have one. So yeah, if somebody's taken your product and put it under their own brand, it's hijacked, right? So you have to show that seller support why that is your product and your ASIN and not theirs, and why it should be connected to your brand registry. I would also worry if potentially your brand or brand registry, has been like terminated for some reason, because that can happen, and that would be the cause of this. But again, essentially take pictures of the product, as many as you can, show previous order history with that brand specifically on that ASIN. You're in for a long haul, but it's a lot of just figure out the data that you have to show all of these things, and then just keep funneling that data to Amazon seller support until you can regain access. And I would also do it both fronts, Amazon seller support and brand registry at the same time. Oh, let's see here. Raj, does the main picture on the listing need to have a white background? Can you give some tips for the main picture, like do's and don'ts? Thanks. Yeah, so this is what we like to call main image, CTR. Yeah, so essentially, yes, the answer is yes. You need to have main image or white background on the main image. What I would say is head on over to myamazonguy.com/CTR and check out our page here. We have a ton of stuff on how to do it. We have posted probably more content than anyone outside of maybe John Aspinall on main image CTR, do's and don'ts, everything in between. Use high quality photo, show clear, engaging visuals, blah, blah. The point is, don't do something plain. Don't just have your product there. Add some stuff to it. Add some fruit if you need something in there. If you have something plain like this, add something where you can add some text in there for specifically click-through rate. The idea behind a main image CTR hack is to add something that makes people want to click on the product when it's just showing up on, let's say, a phone, a little tiny little thing here, and you're like, what is that thing even, right? But if you have, let's say, some text on the product, or you have a product packaging behind it that you can put text on, those things all help with, the overall mindset of people actually clicking on the product and purchasing it eventually. Let's see. Asif, nice to see you, Noah. Thank you. I am doing quite well. Let's see. We got Malik. My account is deactivated. Please help me. Why is it deactivated, Malik? Daniel. Thanks, Nolan. Oh, we're back to this, Daniel. We're back to this. Okay, I see how it is. I thought we got past it. But it's fine. It's fine. Joey, any tips to increase sale in Black Friday? Yeah. Before Black Friday, increase your budget at least threefold, probably a little bit more even. Across your entire advertising account, threefold. So the reason for this is that you're going to be spending more. You also are likely going to be needing to increase your budgets across the board. I would also very, very heavily recommend Prime exclusive discounts if you have them. I'm not a big fan of lightning deals. I think they're overpriced trash, but Prime exclusives I think are good. Past that, I mean, those are the major things. Make sure you have, enough inventory, enough stock going on, Joey. Make sure you have a good, main image, kind of hero image to show off your product. Increase your, click-through rate there, and hopefully get some more conversions. But overall, happy selling. Marnie, hi Noah. I have a couple of keywords that were working really good and got a lot of sales. All of a sudden, it's not, even with increased bids. Ooh, sorry, I had to yawn there, guys. Yeah, so if you had keywords that essentially weren't, what it sounds like to me, I would be looking to see, have you checked to see if your product is potentially, essentially, what is it called? Not shadow listed, but essentially it's no longer ranking. I would check that first and foremost, see if your product is no longer ranking. Or if your product is not showing up as a listing, it's suppressed, like hidden suppression. You can do that by just taking your ASIN and then search it in Amazon, and that'll tell you whether or not your product is suppressed. But that's a lot of times what I see there. I would also wonder if potentially your placements are wrong here. If you're not getting any impressions, seems kind of odd. I would wonder, you got a lot of sales, all of a sudden it's not yet. To me, that says maybe it's an impression issue. Maybe it's also, I would check to see if you have if you lost your featured offer or your buy box, essentially. That can happen a lot as well. Viper, what's a method, good/easy method to merge products? There's not a easy method. to merge products, unfortunately. You have to merge two products. You have to ask seller support to do it for you. You have to be very specific in how you do it. They will not always do it for you unless you have very, very good reason. You have to have the same title. You have to have the same images. You got to have the same bullet points, description, meta tags, etc. So you have to ask seller support. That's kind of the big thing, but there's no easy way to do it. It's not something you can do on your own, unfortunately. So for Black Friday, increased budget. How about bids? Yes. So like I said, increased budget, 3x minimum. And then also you're going to have to increase your bids and likely your placements. There's not really a percentage to put on there. It really depends on how competitive your category overall is. I usually see, 1.25 is kind of like what, if your normal bid is 1.25, so 25% increase. I can see that as, normal for most Black Friday. That's really any holiday, to be fair. We ran a sponsored display ad for one of our products, and while we're getting clicks, we're not seeing any conversions. How can we optimize the sponsored display ad? Yeah, that's super common for sponsored display. Sponsored display is not a very high converting ad type, first and foremost. Expect at most maybe a 1% conversion. It's just not a very high converting ad type because of how it shows up. It's not supposed to be super high converting. But that being said, if you're getting a lot of clicks on it and you're not getting many sales in general coming from it, and you're not seeing an increase in organic in any way, shape, or form or anything like that, that means you have a conversion issue, which means one of two things. Either one, they get onto your product page and they start reading things on your product page, your bullet points, they look at your images, they look at your title, your A+ content, and they're like, this isn't what I want at all, which means you're targeting ineffectively. Or two, your price is too high compared to your competitors on your product pages, and so it makes no sense for them to convert on you. So those are two areas that I always look at. Look at your PDP. Would you buy it? And then number two, are you priced too high? Journeyman, thanks for your help. Even as Amazon is getting more competitive, can brands still become successful from PPC alone? Yeah, absolutely. I would actually say you have to do PPC really in like 99% of scenarios on Amazon. You pretty much have to do PPC to get any traction, to kind of get anywhere on the platform. I don't know personally of a brand that I have seen launch in the last 4 or 5 years maybe in the last probably 4 years. I would say in the last like 2-3 years that isn't like a really well-known household name brand that doesn't need to advertise, right, to do well on Amazon. I mean, even I don't know if you know Athletic Greens 1 or AG1. They launched in July on Amazon. They were getting demolished comparatively. And they still are pretty much getting demolished. And it's because they refuse to do much advertising on the platform. And it's like, yeah, like you need to advertise. They're nearly $1 billion company and, huge brand, and they still, need to advertise. So yeah, absolutely. Advertising is just kind of the way. I will say PPC alone, you do need good design. You do need good SEO and everything. If you have just a crap design, crap SEO, PPC is going to be really, really rough. That's the only thing I'll say. Let's see. What is the average time to see brands reach $1 million in sales per year? Super rare. That's not even a joke. It's super rare. I know there's this big thing where I think a lot of people have this like preconceived notion because they see all of these brands talking about like, we're at 1 million, we're at 10 million, blah, blah. And like we talk about it all the time with brands that we work with, because we do work with a lot of 1 million+ year brands, right? The realistic answer for you, Journeyman, is that that is the like top 1% of Amazon sellers. Less than 1% of Amazon sellers get past $250,000 or $250K a year. That being said, that also comes with the statistic of how many people have set up an Amazon account and just never sold a single thing, right? So there is that. Realistically, you're doing everything right. You're doing all the steps. You are, doing the advertising. You have a good product. You have a good price. You're competitive. You have good inventory control, etc. year and a half, 2 years. Sometime in the first 2 years is usually what I see. Like if you're gonna hit 1 million in sales, on Amazon as like a brand new brand, you will know probably within the first 2 years that time frame. If you haven't hit it in the first 2 years, there are brands that I work with that they're still hitting milestones 10 years later, right? They've been around Amazon for 10 years and they're still hitting new sales milestones every month, right? So there is no set defined time of when you're going to hit 1 million sales per year. It really just depends on your brand, depends on your niche, your market. But what I'll just say is always keep striving for it. There's no point not to, right? Marnie, it's not suppressed. It's getting clicks at higher cost per click, but not getting sales. I did placement optimization to get more impressions on top of search, but not product pages. Yeah, so that's a conversion issue then, Marnie. So check your PDP. Make sure you're actually targeting the correct keywords. Relevancy is everything in advertising. So even if you're getting clicks, that doesn't mean necessarily your product still makes relevant sense for someone to purchase. You could also be extremely high priced. Check your product to see if other people are advertising on your product pages. Because if they are, okay, then you could be way higher priced than the person that is advertising against you there. Oh, Brian, morning chat, morning mag. Hello. Let's see here. Any recommendations on where to get cheap quality UGC? Yeah, I mean, again, Career Connections, Levanta, those are kind of two places. Fiverr you can really go to as well. There's a couple other, but realistically, yeah, I would just look up stuff like that. Asif, could you recommend a video on setting up sponsored display ads? Yeah, I would literally just go to our YouTube channel and just type in sponsored display, and we'll have probably 20, 30 videos, Asif, on setting up sponsored display ads. Marnie, thank you, Noah. Not a problem. If you guys have more questions, throw them in the chat. We're going to end a little bit early today and here in a little bit, but I want to make sure we get through as many questions as possible. If you guys have any more, throw them in. Let's see, Marnie. Oh yeah, Career Connections. Do I have to enroll for that? Yeah, so you do. So it's under advertising, so you have to actually go into advertising, into your campaign manager. And then it will be under brand content on the left side. That's where Career Connections will be. And you usually do have to enroll in it. You have to ask seller support for it. We were talking about it a little bit earlier. Typically speaking, what I always tell people to say to seller support is, hey, I'd like access to Career Connections. I have creators who are on the Amazon creator platform who are wanting to work with me, but they only want to work through Career Connections. Can you please open it up for me? Something along those lines, to essentially try and entice Amazon to give you access ahead of time. That makes sense. So cool. Any more questions in the chat? I'm not seeing anything. I'll take a little sip of water. I was I wonder if you guys could probably hear me just swallowing that water. It's probably disgusting to hear, but that's okay. I was talking a little bit earlier before a bunch of people got in here that Amazon actually allowed for searching business reports by ASIN to analyze metrics. So I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, I have business reports right here. I really hoped that it would be under the sales dashboard. It's not. It's still under the by ASIN level, and you can actually just search for it. I kind of thought it would be a little bit cooler if it was, you could actually just see all business reports by this, but it is what it is. Still a cool feature that they had. We have, let's see, we got a couple other things I think that popped out this week. One of the bigger ones being this one, the update. I think I talked about this one earlier too. FBA peak inventory shipment updates, extended automatic closure window to 90 days, August 7th to 31st, extended abandoned shipments window, 30 days, 45 days. So that stuff is, I'm not a big fan of that, but it is what it is at the end of the day. So we got one more question in here, and then I think we'll probably get wrapping if there's nothing else for anyone. Let's see. Hey, Noah, is it good to run auto campaign with only close match? You can. I am not a big fan of it. Typically, if I'm running a auto campaign, I like running against pretty much everything, right? Because there's not a huge point not to, right? And you can adjust. I would do an adjustment for each one of them, right? What is the bid for each one, and then you can actually make that adjustment. If you need to turn one off, you can, but you can do an auto campaign for close match and then another campaign for so on and so forth. So it really comes down to personal preference. How do you like your campaign set up? It's not going to help or hinder, I guess, is the best way to put it. They may start competing with each other, though, which would be kind of frustrating. And then we got Marnie. I see a lending option on my Amazon seller dashboard. What do you think about that? It's awful. No, Amazon lending is something they are getting rid of here soon. They used to do a lot of lending. Let's see if I even have one on my dashboard here. I don't think I do. I don't. Yeah, so I don't even have that on my dashboard anymore. A big thing to know is that they are getting rid of Amazon lending because they were essentially writing a bunch of checks that people couldn't cash, and you run into issues where you lend out millions of dollars to brands, and then all of a sudden you find out that those brands can't support themselves because your fees are too high, and so on and so forth. And so I'm not a huge fan of it. It really doesn't make sense unless you really need a loan of some kind to kind of grow your business. If you're going to use it for pretty much anything other than inventory, it's not worth it. And even then, you can get lending from a million other places that's better than giving it to Amazon, So, all right, guys. It looks like pretty much the last question. Like I said, we're going to wrap up a little bit early today. I've been talking for the last 2 hours essentially on different podcasts, this one, other ones, and everything. So, that being said, we're going to wrap here. For those that do not know, we got one more. Thank you, Noah. You've been doing such a great job. And I really appreciate the effort and quality of your work. You're welcome. I'm always happy for it. Let's see. So just so everyone knows, we are My Amazon Guy. I'll pull up our website here just so people can see that, I suppose. But we are My Amazon Guy. My name is Noah Wickham. We are a full-service Amazon agency. You can check us out. We do a million different services that you can check out as well. Anything in between. We got cool new site design too. Check that out. Our website team has been putting amazing amounts of effort into this. So definitely check out our website. Give them props. We got testimonials. We got leadership. We got one-on-one coaching. If you want to get some coaching time with me, just, even chat. If you just want to chat with me, come here. If you ever want to buy our SOPs, we sell all of them. We also have courses with certificates you can get. Pretty much every agency in the industry recognizes our courses as legitimate knowledge courses as well. And past that as well, we're hiring. If you're ever curious and everything, we always hire. We also do paid internships as well. So just something to check out. And past that, like I said, my name is Noah Wickham. I'm sales director here at My Amazon Guy. New recent promotion. And past that, we'll be back next Friday, I think. Yeah, we'll be back next Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern. And check me out on LinkedIn. Check My Amazon Guy and have a great weekend. So everybody, happy Halloween.